Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Hello, Michigan! Are you guys awesome or what? Wow. You know, I'm from North Dakota. We're used to the cold, but you're making me very proud right now that you're all still here. So give yourselves a hand. Way to go, Michigan. It's so great to be with you here in Traverse City, and it's so great to be here in the state that is going to put Donald J. Trump back in the White House. Just to kick things off here, I got to ask you a question, and I need you to answer as loud as you can. This will help warm you up. It's a multiple choice question. Very simple. There's two answers. One is Harris, and the other is Trump. So here we go. Who's going to put, well, let me ask it a different way. Who is going to win Michigan? Again, who's going to win Michigan? Okay, we got one more time. This time we're going to be so loud that they're going to hear us over those sounds of joy at the Kamala headquarters. Who's going to win Michigan? Yes, yes, yes. When President Trump wins Michigan, it's going to be because of you. It's going to be because of you. Your vote matters. Your presence here all day matters. Everything you're doing matters. And the future of our country and the fate of democracy is going to run through this state, and it's going to run through Grand Traverse County. Right here is where it's going to happen. And you know that if you deliver Michigan, it's going to be peace around the world, and it's going to be prosperity for you and your families. You know that. And I think you also know in the state of Michigan all too well what the cost of Kamala will be if we do not put DJT back in the White House. Because Kamala's war on energy is hurting every single American. It's definitely hurting Michigan, absolutely. Because all of you know that the cost of energy is in everything that you use or touch every day. Every farmer's got to put diesel in their tank. Every truck has got to put diesel or gas. Every business has got to, small business or large, got to pay for electricity. And her California-style regulatory regime has raised the price of gas in your car, the food on your table, the clothes on your back, your skyrocketing utility bills, and it's even raised your rent. She's literally killing the American dream and the dream of home ownership with their regime energy policies. So let's just take a look at one part of that for Michigan, which is her EV mandates, which she loves so much. Yes, she supports costly federal mandates, the kind of mandates that tell companies what they can do and can't do, what they can build and what they can sell, stripping away the freedom of the private sector, which has been part of the engine of America since our beginning. And with that, she's killing jobs, and she's killing the auto industry right here in the state of Michigan. And you know where, when she has these EV mandates, you know where the batteries are going to come from? I knew you knew the answer. That's why you're here. They're coming from China because they control 85% of the rare earth minerals. because they're blocking the ability to develop and mine rare earth minerals here in the United States. So Kamala's energy policies, they hurt Americans, they hurt American jobs, they hurt American workers. But you know who they help? They help Russia, they help Iran, and they help China. It's almost like her policies were written by those countries. And Kamala's policies are literally making Russia and Iran filthy rich. And you know what Russia and Iran is doing with all that dirty oil money they're making after they killed the U.S. energy industry in states like North Dakota? They're using that money to fund terrorism and fund wars against our allies. Kamala says she wants to be the change candidate. But I think we know something, everybody that's here tonight. She isn't the change candidate. She won't be the change candidate. And she can't be the change candidate because her fingerprints are all over every mess that's been made by her administration. She owns this mess. Let's just look at her record very quickly. Number one, we'll just take the top 5. Who's been the open border czar? Okay. Who was the sponsor of the Green New Deal? Who cast the tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Creation Act? And who said she was the last person in the room when they decided to pull the deadly and damaging withdrawal from Afghanistan? And who is the central figure in our government who claims to have spent the most time with Joe Biden, who up until a few months ago and even as recently as this week has been part of the cover-up of his cognitive decline, and she still today continues to lie about his condition? Who did that? Okay, well, that's her record, and she wants to turn the page, is what she said, and this is, I think, the only thing that we could all agree with her on, because it's time to turn the page on the last 4 years that she's built, and it's time for a new chapter in American history where we put Donald Trump back in the White House. And yes, I've got very good news for Michigan, very good news for all of you that are here still tonight, because we all know someone who can, someone who will, and someone who has got the ability to fix all of Kamala's messes, and that is none other than Donald J. Trump. President Trump is going to come back. He's going to do what he did before. He's going to make America great again by fighting for you, fighting for your family, fighting for your communities, fighting for safe America, fighting for a secure border. He will be fighting for America from the minute he takes office. He'll lower taxes, slash red tape, secure the border, respect the Constitution. He'll bring peace through strength around the world. And we all know that this is true, just like we know that everything we said about Kamala was true about the messes that she made. But we know this is true about Donald Trump because he's a proven leader, and he's done it before, and he will do it again when he's back in the White House. And of course, one of the things that President Trump, when he gets here, I know he'll talk about it, but he's going to unleash American energy dominance. He's going to do this like it's never happened before. And he knows that American greatness has always been dependent on innovation. It's been the source of our success and our strength as a country since the very beginning. President Trump is a business person. He's been on the other side of choking red tape. He knows that it's innovation, not regulation, that drives our country forward. And with that, that's why he supports our entrepreneurs, our innovators. He supports homemakers. He supports farm workers. He supports farmers and ranchers. He supports auto workers. If you work for a living and if you get a paycheck, Donald Trump is on your side. President Trump will drive down the cost of inflation. He's going to make America affordable again. And you know, I'm going to close tonight with a short quote and a challenge for all of you. Over a century ago, President Theodore Roosevelt once said, "Far and away the best prize that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing." That's an incredible quote, because if you're here tonight and all those people, I know that some had to leave because of family and kids, but people that were here for 12 hours, I just want to thank you on behalf of President Trump for being here. Thank you for being here. You're here because you care. You care about your kids, you care about your grandkids, you care about your communities. That's why you're here. And with that caring and that depth of caring that keeps you here tonight, you have caught the great prize. Because the great prize is defending America, and you're part of that defense. And certainly there's another part of that quote that says to work hard. And I can tell you from personal experience and working alongside of President Trump, there is no other presidential candidate, and there has been no other president that works as hard as President Trump. In the face of 2 assassination attempts, all the lawfare, everything that he could be doing was his life, and I know that he feels bad that he's late tonight, but when you see him tonight, I have been with him at 2 in the morning when he is still working. He's going to come in here the most energized guy in the room, and he probably started at 5 a.m. in New York before he went to Texas, and he's pumped up about coming to Michigan tonight. So he's working hard at work worth doing, and there's some things that we can make sure that we're doing to support him. And the number one thing, of course, is to vote. It's not only vote yourself, it's make sure everybody in your family votes, make your friends vote, make anybody you know get out and vote, no excuses, make a plan and go vote. If you put up a yard sign, which I know none of you have, and I know when I grew up in a town of 300 people, I lived in a rural area, I understand how this works. I see some of the strongest support in areas and counties like this around the country. But if you put up a 1 yard sign, put up another one, go offer to help, make some phone calls, knock on some doors. Polls don't win elections. We're hearing some very good news about momentum, but polls don't win elections. If they did, Hillary Clinton would be president. But polls don't win, votes do, and votes is what you can help on. So thank you for all of that. So my challenge to all of you is to do this. Think about President Trump and everything he's gone through, and then say to yourself, if he's working that hard, can I make one more phone call, put up one more yard sign? Of course you can, because we just have to try to keep up with him. He's doing all of this for all of us. The fate of the free world and the future of America can be decided right here in this county, in Grand Traverse. It can be decided in this state of Michigan. And so again, I want to close like I opened with gratitude, because on behalf of President Trump, thank you for doing your part, the work that you're doing. He's fighting for you, but when you're fighting for him, you are making America great again. Let's all work together, Michigan. Let's get it done. Let's make America great again. Let's put Donald Trump back in the White House. USA, 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 USA. We've got a special treat coming up. Tudor Dixon, she spoke to you earlier. She's going to come back up on stage. I've been on her podcast before, but she's going to come up and we're going to do a little podcasting here. She's going to ask me a few more questions, and we're happy to hear. So help me welcome Tudor Dixon back on stage. These guys are warmed up. They're ready to go. They're pumped up.
They are. They are. So I just want to say, can we all give a big round of applause to the governor? So we're
can I just say I got to know Tudor when she was running for governor a couple years ago. I've also had a chance to get to know your current governor, and I just want to say I'm really happy to be on stage with Tudor Dixon.
Thank you. So we're going to do kind of like the Tudor Dixon podcast live. Are you guys cool with that? Awesome. And I will say that when you are in the world of politics, it is rare to find someone who wants to help elevate you, because it's kind of like I don't know, you kind of get elbows a lot, right? It's tough. But when I was running, I was in Montana, and we were at a group where we were talking to all of these different people, and Governor Burgum was there, and I was just kind of sitting there, and I wasn't meant to speak to anyone, and he stepped forward and he said, "You come up and talk," which I thought was so nice, so gracious. That's who we're with tonight, and I'm so, so happy you are in the state of Michigan. Thank you.
It's great to be here. I'm here with the amazing First Lady from North Dakota, Catherine, and this is our third trip that we've made to Michigan. Michigan is so important. Michigan matters big time, so happy to spend time here.
I know, I told them, Michigan matters. You guys are the answer. This is the state that wins the race. I mean, we love them all, but we love Michigan. Michigan's special. All right.
The other reason we like coming here is because we like coming south to campaign, to warm up down here.
So we want to jump into some of these questions, because I think you guys are going to learn a lot tonight about energy and how energy has affected this country in ways you may not have imagined. The governor was recently on Fox and Friends, and he was talking about the fact that the energy policies of the Biden-Harris administration have actually funded terrorism. I think this is key here in Michigan, because it has also divided our state in such a major way, because we have people on both sides of this war in the Middle East that have lost family members. And it goes directly back to the policies that were made in the White House. And you can explain that to us, correct?
Well, I can, and it all starts with Donald Trump, because first of all, we know that the way that you keep wars from happening is you have deterrence. And I just want to say that during the 4 years that I was governor under President Trump versus the 4 years under this current administration, President Trump himself is actually a deterrent. People literally are like, we're not going to try that when he's president. And Russia would have never invaded Ukraine if Donald Trump had been president. Hamas would have never did what they did a year ago on October 7th to Israel. So we wouldn't even be in this mess if he was in office. But the other thing that he did is he knew that what a bad actor Iran was. He knew how important it was to keep Iran from having a nuclear weapon. He put in sanctions that actually worked, and President Trump had Iran on their knees financially. They literally could not make payroll for Hezbollah. They support over 24 different terrorism groups, including the 7 that are now fully attacking Israel in the 7-front war they're at. They were on their knees financially. And don't listen to me, I just don't even have to listen to a pundit. The left-leaning magazine, The Economist, came out this week and confirmed what many of us knew, which is between ghost ships, fake front companies, and everything else, Iran has amassed over $200 million of oil revenue during the Biden-Harris administration that they're using to fund terrorism. They're literally funding, we're in 2 proxy wars, one with Russia, one with Iran. Both of those wars are being funded on their side by the failed Biden-Harris energy policies.
Absolutely, and you know what I find very interesting? We had a Fox and Friends breakfast in Muskegon the other week, and we had some ladies there that were Harris Walls ladies, and I said, let me just talk to you, because I am curious about the Democrat Party of today. Because the Democrat Party I grew up with was always very anti-war, don't you guys think? That's what we had heard, right? But however, I see President Trump signing peace treaties, and I see the Democrats signing bombs. Isn't that shocking to you, to see Governor Shapiro signing the bombs that will go over to Russia and take out families that the Democrats say they care so much about? They have become the party of big war. It is shocking to me. The warmongers who are touting the endorsement of Dick Cheney. I'm like, I don't think that's the win you think it is. It's like so bizarre. I do feel like we're in clown world when we watch them sometimes. And I just have to say, it's been a joy for us to see Kamala Harris doing these interviews where she's like, it's like she's glitching because she can't figure out what to say or how to respond. And I'm like, I know where the joy is now. The joy is us watching them. We've found the joy. We've got the joy. But I want to ask you more about energy because I know that you're a big fan of Teddy Roosevelt and a saying that he had, which was speak softly and big stick, right? And you think that Donald Trump has a big stick to carry with energy dominance, correct?
Well, one of the things through innovation, America has become one of the largest energy producers in the world, and I'm sure none of you have heard this during the Harris administration, but they've had Janet Yellen. They had Kerry, they had Biden, they had Harris, they had many other cabinet leaders go to China. Every time they went, all they talked about was CO2. China imports 11 million barrels of oil a day. They're the most dependent country in the world on external energy sources. They're the world's largest polluter. If we're buying a battery from them, it's made in a plant that's powered by 1970s dirty coal technology. Not like the technology we have in America today, where we can do clean coal, we can do all of the above here. So why we're talking to them about that, why President Trump was so smart to say we can't be in climate accords that allow the second largest economy in the world, China, to keep growing their emissions till 2035 while we're trying to shut ours down. Because the other thing we don't have enough of in America is electricity. And we're in an AI arms race with China. China's opening up 2 coal plants a month. They will use that to power AI, which will affect everything, and especially defense. And then in America, the same time they're saying, no, we're for U.S. energy right now. That's been the last couple of weeks. No, we're for it. They're actually still, every agency is pushing against places like North Dakota. North Dakota, we're fighting the federal government on 30, not 29, not 31, 30 different rules and mandates that we're involved in pushing back and literally in some cases suing the federal government because they're trying to shut down U.S. baseload electricity. They're trying to shut down U.S. gas oil production. And if they're not trying to shut down the production, they're trying to stop a transmission line, a gas pipeline, or an oil pipeline to have the infrastructure. The last little tidbit I'll give you, at the time of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, we were offloading 400,000 barrels of dirty Russian heating oil into New England because 41% of the people in New Hampshire still heat their homes with heating oil, one of the dirtiest fuels, because we can't get a pipeline built through the state of New York because they think they're saving the environment if they stop clean natural gas from Pennsylvania going into New England.
We know a little bit about people wanting to shut down a pipeline here, don't we? They want to shut down our pipeline as well.
Well, that's the new thing. I say pipeline, and then they say protest.
Yep, that's
it's
right.
Like a new game that they play.
That's right. Okay, so energy. Let's talk a little bit more about that because you know what's really important to us here in Michigan is vehicles, and we're being told we have to have electric vehicles. So they want to change this Yes, we do not like mandates. So, how in the world could a grid that in Michigan, we've had 2 weeks in the middle of winter with whole towns out of power. How could we possibly support electric vehicles with the grid that we have right now?
You can't. We can't do that. And the whole idea that somehow we're going to subsidize the cars, the batteries, the 500,000 charging stations. I think there was a report recently that billions of dollars have been spent and they've built, less than 100 charging stations. I mean, the federal government can't do that. America, entrepreneurs and innovators, we built 300,000 plus gas stations in America in the 1920s, the 1930s without one dime of federal subsidies. The market created that. And then the market created the auto industry, which drove the economy of our country and drove the economy of Michigan. Markets, free markets, not the federal government with a one-size-fits-all will tell you what to do, because we also know that EVs don't work in cold weather. We also know they don't work for long-haul trucking. They don't work for heavy loads. We know that the cars are heavier and that with EVs and that ruins the roads. We know that you can't fly a plane from here to Japan or from here to London that's battery operated. You can't do that, even if you had the batteries that could do it, because when a plane takes off, when President Trump took off in Texas, whatever the load was in that plane, it'll weigh half as much when they get here because the fuel's gone. If you take off on a battery-operated plane, it weighs the same when you land, you break the landing gear. I mean, they think with a rule they can defy physics, they can defy economics, and they can defy common sense. And the EV mandates are like fail on all three of those. And the last kicker, I just have to say, thanks for listening, the whole premise was that was going to be better for the environment. And as I said, you can't outsource your jobs and your power source to the world's biggest polluter and have the environment get better. If you cared about the environment, you would have every car, every product, everything built in the United States. We build everything cleaner, safer, and smarter than anywhere in the world. We're the ones that can save the environment.
I like the fact that you brought up that an airplane would be much heavier with an electric battery, because guess what? Vehicles are too. They're 30% heavier with an electric battery inside of them. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but nobody fixed the damn roads. It's a problem in this state. We should get a new governor. So I do want to get to a little bit about one of your neighbors, because you happen to be neighbors with a guy who you guys may have heard of. His name is Tim Walz. So we were fortunate enough to have the South Dakota governor here a few weeks ago, and she was talking about how he sent her a lot of people. So tell us your experience with Tim Walz.
Well, I just want to say it's been, I got my great neighbor, Christy Noem, in the other Dakota. And by the way, not that anybody here is paying attention, but for Christy, I just want to mention that South Dakota State was ranked #1 in the country in their division of football, and we were ranked #2 until we beat them last weekend. So, but that's okay. We'll see them again in the playoffs. But we have a great rivalry, but she's a fantastic neighbor. And of course, in Iowa also benefits from this, but Tim Walz has been a gift. He's been a gift to North Dakota, South Dakota, and Iowa, because billions of dollars of businesses are leaving Minnesota, one of the high-tax, high-regulatory states. And so I just want to publicly thank Tim Walz for all the regulations, because they're just pouring over. We just opened up a new soybean crush plant in North Dakota. We had the ribbon cutting a couple weeks ago. It was just about exactly 2 years earlier that we'd had the groundbreaking. So we did everything, $450 million plant. We got the DOT, we got the Department of Environmental Quality, everything at the state level. Everything done, permits, boom, from beginning to end. They've been receiving soybeans for 2 months when we cut the ribbon, so actually 22 months. And you know who was opening up that soybean processing plant in North Dakota? Minnesota soy growers. Thank you very much. Come on our side of the border. Bring it on over. We got more. We got a call actually right after that, and another soybean processing plant said, we've been trying to get going in Minnesota, 20 miles east of the border. They said, can we come over too? Because in 2 years we couldn't even get our permits.
See, I give you credit. This is what good governors do. They take American businesses and they help them flourish in their state. Be nice to do that here, wouldn't it? And that's so important, because right now we can do that in the state of Michigan. We have got to get this state back on track, and we can do it. But I think something you mentioned was interesting. You talk about the high taxes in Minnesota. And that on a national level is very important, because if you take somebody into Washington who believes that the more you tax the people, the more benefit they can have in government, we don't want that. We don't want higher taxes. But let me tell you what Democrats want to do in the state of Michigan. Recently, one of the Democrats in our legislature decided that they should start taxing entertainment in Detroit. I mean, can Detroit kind of get a break? I mean, give it a break. But then one of the other ones, Mallory McMorrow, she was like, I think we could do it across the whole state. Sounds like somebody needs to be voted out of office. We don't want high taxes. Tell us how you do it with low taxes.
I'm happy to say that in North Dakota we've cut taxes every legislative session I've been in office. We now 60% of North Dakotans no longer pay any income tax at all. And
we should do that.
Yeah, no. So we're so our taxes are going down. Our regulations going on. We focus. We have a red tape reduction effort. We've got a website. We solicit ideas from the public. We ask them to contribute their ideas. We passed 51 red tape reduction bills last legislative session.
How do you get the public to help you with this? Because that's how it should be. It's we the people, right?
Well, absolutely. But we just say we have a website. You go there. If you're frustrated with something, like a permit took too long, or you wanted to do something that was smart and had common sense, but somehow there was a regulation and you couldn't do it, we just said we want to hear about it. And we comb through all those ideas, and then we turn them into bills, and then we introduce them. We said, let's get rid of this stuff. Part of the way you get rid of the cost of government is you stop doing the mind-numbing, soul-sucking, non-common sense work that frustrates every citizen, and it also frustrates the team members at the state that don't want to be doing that stuff. So it makes it better for the state team members. We don't need as many state team members. They're happier. And then the public. We say in North Dakota, treat the taxpayers like customers. They're paying for everything. I'm a private sector guy. I got in there, I'm like crazy. They're the customer. They're the ones that are the citizens. They're paying for it. Let's treat them that way.
So you mentioned that you're a private sector guy. Your background is really computers and cybersecurity and things like that. A lot of people don't realize that we have companies that every day they have some sort of a ransom attack. They have all of their information taken. And there are people working behind the scenes on it to try to keep companies safe, but it's not well known right now. And we could be attacked at any time on a national level. So tell us a little bit about the national security implications of not being prepared for a cyber attack.
Well, I talked earlier about that we're in two proxy wars right now, one with Russia and one with Iran, and then we're in a Cold War with China. But we're in a cyber war every day, and those three actors, Iran, Russia, China, and then throw in North Korea. Those four have active people attacking the U.S. every single day, and they attack school districts, they attack tribes, they attack cities, they attack states. When I got into office, I never served a day in office until the same day President Trump got elected. And by the way, that was a fun night. We knew we were going to win. It was a close one. I think we won by 41 points or something, but back in 16. But it was, so we had that, but then we thought, Hillary was going to win. And then President Trump won that night, and what a celebration that was and how great it was working with him. But then when I got in, I found out, well, we didn't really have any cyber protection for all the stuff, and states have for your data. We have if you got a speeding ticket, if you bought a fishing license, if your kid goes to college, you got the grades. So this has been declassified. But shortly after I got into office, we had a small school district with about 200 people up by the Canadian border that called the state and said, "Hey, our power school system that has all the kids' grades and all the parents' emails is not working very well. We don't know what's wrong." Our guys went in there because we created a crack team of cyber specialists. They went in there. North Korea was in this little school district. And then you might say, why was North Korea in a school district near the Canadian border? Right in the middle of the largest nuclear missile field in America is in North Dakota. If we seceded from the nation, then we'd be the third largest nuclear power in the world. Just remember that, okay? We're not planning on doing that, but I'm just saying we have a lot of nuclear up there, and the ground defense for those nuclear missiles is the North Dakota National Guard on a permanent assignment, which makes a ton of sense. If you had an Air Force person rotating in, for 12 months and then they leave, they wouldn't know who's who, but we got people that have been doing this for 20 years. They know every pickup in town. They know who's coming through. The North Koreans were trying to go through the school system, to get to the parents' email addresses, to get into the parents' computers, to try to get access to passwords or other information about America's nuclear defense.
I mean, think about that. How many of you use Power School? I mean, our school uses Power School. We know what, yes, see, I see some hands going up. You see your kids' grades on there. You see what their missing assignments are. We as parents know you have missing assignments, kids, just so you know. Apparently, North Korea also does. This we cannot take. We cannot take these chances. And that's why it's so important to get someone who's paying attention to that instead of having a woke military. We pay attention to actually taking care of the American people. So when President Trump gets into office, what you believe that he'll be on top of this? You'll be advising him on this, I suspect.
Well, President Trump, the President of the United States gets to appoint 4,000 people. So one of the reasons why it's important that you're here tonight is that I can tell you as a governor, a number of the people that are working for Kamala right now, this is like the fourth term of Obama. Some of them have been there through 2 terms of Obama. They hid. They were part of the swamp during the time that Trump was in. They're still around. They reemerged. This time around, President Trump, there's going to be 4,000 new people in those jobs. They're going to be patriots. They're going to be people that know how to get it done. They're going to be some of the smartest and best business leaders and strategists in the whole country. And this time around, Silicon Valley is waking up, because they know that without electricity, they don't have an industry, and they're figuring out, and that's why you're seeing so many of those leaders, whether it's Elon Musk or others, those people from Silicon Valley, or all the innovators are going, we've got it. We're actually, they woke up and found out they're Republicans.
You know, I think I was at an RGA meeting one time, and I had a gentleman come up to me and he said, "This is my first time at a Republican event." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. What made you decide to do this?" He said, "I'm from California." And then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's like a unicorn. Why are you here? Welcome." You know, I'm so excited. And he said, "You know, to be honest, my son has worked harder." He said, "I started my own business in Silicon Valley." And he said, my son worked harder than I did when he was in high school so that he could get into an Ivy League university. He said, "In the meantime, here I was starting a business, and my son was busting his tail so that he could get into this Ivy League university." He said, "Here's the kicker. We're Indian." So he wasn't chosen because we're Indian. And the schools had gone woke and said Asian kids don't get to come in anymore. They have to work even harder than the other kids. And he said, "I had watched my son give up every party, every girlfriend, every sport. I had watched him just work as hard as he could to get into an Ivy League university. And the woke policies wouldn't let him in." And he said, "And guess what? I decided maybe I'm a Republican." See, one of the things that I don't even like to call them Democrats, because I don't remember Democrats like this. It's like this progressive, woke side of the country that is radical and out of control. What they haven't figured out is that when you mess with someone's kids, they don't stick around. We're kind of like mama bears. You don't mess with our kids, right?
Well, I just got to say, I was had a great day. I apologize ahead of time to all the Wolverines here, but I was at Michigan State for the. I was there on campus, and I was having a blast until the game started. It was the weekend they were playing Ohio State, because I was in the "Oh how I hate Ohio State" category, which both Michigan teams should like that. But anyway, walking on that campus and walking down Fraternity Row, and there was fraternity and sorority. There was 400 students on a Saturday afternoon screaming, "Trump, Trump, Trump, Trump." And I got to tell you, that was pretty fun to see, because there was nothing woke happening in that crowd. They were ready to go, and I was there today back at Michigan State early voting. Met a group of about 20 young men that were there. They were all coming from their fraternity as a group to all go to early voting, right when early voting opened up today on campus. And I got to tell you, pretty exciting to see that kind of support, because that's an area for too long the other party they've controlled the thinking. But the question that I asked them when I was there a month ago, I said, when you graduate, would you rather graduate and enter into a world that has a Kamala economy or a Trump economy? And the answer was Trump, because they see that that's where the real opportunity is, the opportunity with low inflation, low interest rates, someone who supports entrepreneurs and innovators. They all want to have the opportunity that I had, because when I was a kid, growing up in a town of 300 people in North Dakota, I was the youngest of the youngest. I thought there's no chance for me to farm, no chance for me to, the older siblings have got all the opportunities. And so then, what happened? Along comes the personal computer software. I was going to a high school that didn't even have a computer, and then I spent my whole life, building a software company and growing in that industry. And these young people today want to have that kind of opportunity to chase the American dream, and President Trump's going to give it to them.
That's right. So I actually was asking people, we have a young guy here from Marquette who came down, and there he is, he came up to me, and he said, you'd be surprised, a lot of the students, there he is, they're going for Trump. So we are so glad that you're here and you're willing to speak up, and honestly, that's what we've been talking about all night. The 10xvotes.com, all of these things. I mean, even if you're a young person, go on there, find out who you know that hasn't gone out and voted, that doesn't want to go out and vote, but they want to have a say in their country. And don't forget what the general said. People gave their lives for you to have the right to vote. It's so important. So when you're out there and you're talking to young people, this is a critical time for young people to understand what their forefathers and what the generations before them have given up so that they have this chance to vote. I'll say there was one more gentleman in the crowd who came up to me, and I looked at his shirt and I was like, whoa, he has an Ohio State shirt on? And I said, you're like really brave. And he said, you know what? I think that Donald Trump can bring everyone together. I was like, okay, fair. We've accepted J.D. Vance, right? So I think you make a great point. It is so important for young people to go out and vote right now. And that's something that they have had them working on, but we've seen a massive shift in these young folks. What are you seeing in your state? And what have you seen? Because you've been everywhere. You've traveled around. I mean, Michigan State is one thing, but that's a big deal because it's right in the heart of Lansing. It's right where you've got Gretchen Whitmer. She's out there on the campus. They're pushing this. So it's a big deal. What are you seeing in the rest of the country?
Well, I think one of the things that I feel and why I'm optimistic is what I talked about earlier is all of you here that have over your life have worked hard for a living and put savings away, because one of the things that I see, whether it's in people in Arizona that are concerned about the border, people in Nevada that are saying, hey, I love this idea of no tips, people here in Michigan like yourselves that understand the disastrous effect of the EV mandates. When I'm in Pennsylvania and I see the energy workers, Pennsylvania, people think Texas energy. Pennsylvania is producing 20% of the United States' natural gas right now, and they could be doing a lot more if they weren't being held back by this administration. So everywhere I go, what I see is I see people that worked hard their whole life, saved for their retirement. I see people that are working today that care about their families and communities, and I see college kids that want to have an opportunity to be able to go in and do something in their lifetime with their careers, and that's the coalition that's voting for Trump. I had a chance to be at that Wildwood rally, 100,000 people. And I was, it was amazing, of course. And part of it, I'm going on there and saying, this is New Jersey, as blue can be. And we were 10 miles away. And of course, they had the New Jersey Highway Patrol and others. And I knew it was going to be a good day because in this blue state, as blue as it gets, there was highway patrolmen and firemen, fire trucks out in front of the fire stations with people with the flags flying, lined up as the motorcade went by. There was a highway patrolman for New Jersey that saluted as President Trump went by. Then we got there and there was just crowds and crowds of people, and and then all the liberal mainstream media were like, well, who was all there? What was they're trying to play identity politics. I said, everybody there that I saw was someone who either worked their whole life or is working. And that's who was there. It's people that build stuff in America, that farm, that are making things happen. That's
Americans.
Yeah, it was a bunch of Americans. And then I said, and then she goes, well, was there any people you didn't see there? And I said, I didn't see anybody there that was hoping to have their Ivy League student loan forgiven.
That's true. That's true. So when you see what's happening in Washington, D.C. today, and you've seen Kamala Harris asked all of these questions, do you have any insight for us as to who is actually running the country right now? Because she seems to not be able to answer if Joe Biden is mentally healthy, but it doesn't look good for us. And what do you think that looks like to our adversaries around the world?
Well, I think it's what we talked about earlier, Tudor, which is that's why Russia felt emboldened. It wasn't just that they had the money to do it. It wasn't just that Iran was flush with cash and could fund terrorism to achieve their objective in terms of their attacks on Israel and eventually on the United States. I mean, that's their stated purpose, not the Iranian people, but the Ayatollahs and the Iranian regime. They were emboldened by all that. They see the weakness. They see the lack of leadership. They see what we see, maybe even better, which is there is no one home. No one is leading the country. And not Kamala, not Joe Biden. So then you just asked the most important question, and it's one of the reasons why people should vote for Donald Trump, because this party has been basically telling us that Joe Biden was going to be fine to be president for 4 more years, when it was clear in an interview 2 days ago that he shouldn't probably be president from now until January 20th.
Right.
Please turn the back, take his driver's license.
I think we need to take a little bit more than that. But the alternative is really no good either. So that's scary. I want to get to the border. You've talked about the border a few different times. Obviously, we know that the open border is a disaster. What we found out today is that we had a candidate running for Congress in the state of Michigan who was recorded saying that even though his advertisements have said that he wants to be tough on the border, that he believes an open border is the American way. And he believes that we owe a debt to those folks who have crossed the border. This guy's name is Curtis Hertel. Interesting political family. His wife was the Health and Human Services Director during COVID. Remember when we weren't allowed to go on vacation, but she went to Alabama? That sucked. So he's running against Tom Barrett. Vote for Tom Barrett, obviously. Everybody listening, vote for Tom Barrett out there if you hear us in his district. So when you hear things like that, and you see that Kamala can't answer the questions about the border, do you really believe that they could ever possibly take the border seriously? Because so many people in their party have made it clear they want it to be wide open.
Yeah, and I would just say on this one, we all, if you watch the news, you hear the stories, but I, again, want to come as not as a pundit, not as someone who, I'm just coming to you as another regular citizen who's had the opportunity to serve as a governor. And one of the greatest honors of serving as a governor is that you're the commander-in-chief of your National Guard. And during the Biden-Harris administration, almost continuously, we've had troops sent to the southern border. Of course, we're a border state like Michigan on the northern border. We got 325 miles of border. We had 18 border crossings, so we have our own issues up there. But we've been sending troops to the southern border. And when I go down there to visit the troops, it's not about a photo op. And then it's bizarre. She's the border czar. I've been down there more times than she has. I've been down there more times than her and Joe combined.
She hasn't been to Europe either.
Yeah, well, it's just interesting, but when I can tell you, in our troops, when we were down there, they were guys flying Lakota helicopters, stopping transnational criminal organizations, all the way from the Gulf to the Pacific. We had people that were assigned to certain sectors in places. I was down there when the record amount of Chinese were coming across earlier this year.
What do you think that means? Because that's the first time we've seen that. You guys need to know, this is the first time we've seen mass immigration, illegal immigration from China.
And what we know now is that, of course, you can fly from China to Ecuador without a visa. And then from Ecuador, you can fly to Mexico. So they're flying into, Tijuana, Laredo, Mexicali. They're flying into places the next day. They fly to Ecuador, they've got cash, then they buy the next plane ticket, and then they basically get an Uber, like a dozen of them, and get into in an SUV who drives them to the hole in the wall, and they walk through. So literally down there, we've got our guys.
This is not a hideous journey that we were thinking.
No, this is not like you've been going for 9 months and hiking through the Darien Gap, which many people have. These are people that decided last week they're coming to the U.S. and then they're coming through I shouldn't laugh, but some of them are coming through with a roller bag and a neck pillow, through the wall, and then other ones were paying.
This is how open our border really is.
Right. And then in some others, you haven't seen this story, but you're there and you're watching on the screen, and we're looking out in the Pacific Ocean, and then they're like, well, what are these boats? Well, those are whale watch tours. Well, what's this fast one? Oh, those are jet skis. They're jet skiing from Mexico to north of the SEAL base by San Diego. And they say, yeah, they pay about $5,000. The Chinese guys pay $5,000, and they give them a ride on a jet ski and drop them off on the beach, up by LA. But you probably haven't seen that story, but I've seen it with my own eyes that this is what's happening. So the thing is completely underreported at all times. The first time I went down there with our troops, they were there for 30 days. I went down to visit them. They had a 30-mile sector. And I said, how's it going? They said, well, we've apprehended 30,000 people. I said 30,000 people in a 30-mile sector. In 30 days, they said we're doing about 1,000 a day. And I'm like, where's the Border Patrol? Well, the Border Patrol was all back doing processing, but they weren't doing computer processing. They were doing paper processing because the Biden administration said we don't want to have any pictures of big, refugee camps on our side of the border. So then quickly, let's pay the NGOs to get those people into the U.S. So their job was to get people through. So then you go talk to the Border Patrol and say, you guys are multi-generational, dedicated people that care about law enforcement, the grandfather, the father. I mean, these people that live in these border towns that are there, that grew up there, the federal job was a great job. Federal law enforcement, and they were proud. They're telling their kids the same way that someone in Detroit or Minneapolis or San Francisco in law enforcement is telling their kids, don't go into law enforcement. You're not respected. They want to defund us. So the culture of the Border Patrol now has been destroyed by this administration, a proud law enforcement organization. They say, you tell us how to close the border and we'll close it. You give us the support, you give us President Trump, you give us the leadership. And the biggest lie that is being told this whole campaign by Kamala is that somehow the Republican led in Congress didn't pass this bill that she wanted, because then they were going to hire another couple thousand Border Patrol. I asked the question, I'm a business guy. I went straight all the way to the top of Homeland Security, and I said, hey, every time I've been down there, everybody's taking early retirement, everybody's leaving. How many positions do we have available right now that you don't need a bill for? The answer is thousands. They could hire thousands of Border Patrol today just to fill the spots of all the people that have left. There is no need for this new bill that they're talking about. They could be doing more right now, but you can't if you don't have the leadership. President Trump represents leadership that law enforcement respects, the Border Patrol respects, and if we don't have that, all the rules in the world are not going to close the border. He's the one that can get it done.
Yes, because if we don't have someone who respects the people who work there, then they don't want to work there. And that's the beauty of Donald Trump. He doesn't want to lead you. He doesn't want to control you. He wants to serve you. And we are so blessed that he will be here soon to come and talk to you about how he wants to serve you. But please, everybody, give a big round of applause for Governor Burgum and thank him for coming here.
And thank you, Tudor. We got a special surprise here. We got people we know they want hats. You've been waiting a long time.
We have hats.
There he is. The congressman's he's got a good arm. He's throwing them out right now. There he is.
that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel it. That tonight's
Thank you all. We love you, Michigan. We love you.
Let's hear it for Tudor Dixon!
good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night.
Get ready, he's on his way!
That tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel it. That tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night, let's live it up. I got my money, let's spin it up. Go out and smash it, like oh my god. Jump out that sofa, let's kick it off.
I know that we'll have a ball if we get down and go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed out, I wanna let it go. Let's go way out, spaced out, and losing all control.
Fill up my cup, Mazel tov. Look at her dancing, just take it off. Let's paint the town, we'll shut it down. Let's burn the roof,
And then we'll do it again.
let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and do it, and do it. Let's live it up and do it, and do it, and do it, do it, do it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. 'Cause I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel it. That tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel tonight's the night. Hey, let's live it up.
Let's live it up.
I got my money. Hey, let's spin it up. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it.
Smash it.
Like oh my god. Like oh my god. Jump out that sofa. Come on. Let's kick it off. Fill up my cup.
Drink.
Mazel tov. Look at her dancing.
Move it, move
Just take it off. Let's paint the town. Paint the town. We'll shut it down. Shut it down. Let's burn the roof.
And then we'll do it again.
Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and do it, and do it. Let's live it up and do it, and do it, and do it, do it, do it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, do it, do it, do it. Here we come, here we go. We gotta rock, 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 rock. Easy come, easy go. Now we on top, feel the shot, body rock, rock it, don't stop. Tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night. Feel it. That tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night, that tonight's gonna be a good night.
Sun is hot and that old clock is moving slow, and so am I. Workday passes like molasses in wintertime, but it's July. Getting paid by the hour and over by the minute. My boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something, I think I'll just call it a day. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Well, this lunch break is gonna take all afternoon, half the night. Tomorrow morning I know there'll be hell to pay. Hey, but that's alright. I ain't had a day off now in over a year. My Jamaican vacation's gonna start right here. If the fall's for me, you can tell them I just sailed away. And pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I could pay off my tab, pour myself in a cab, and be back to work before 2. At a moment like this, I can't help but wonder, what would Jimmy Buffett do?
Funny you should ask, Alan. I'd say, pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care.
He don't care, and I don't care.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. What time zone am I on? What country am I in?
It doesn't matter, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's always on 5 in Margaritaville, come to think of it.
I heard that.
You've been there, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
I've seen your boat there.
I've been to Margaritaville a few times.
All right, well, that's good.
Stumbled my way back.
Okay, we just want to make sure you can keep it between the navigational beacons.
Between the buoys, I got it.
All right, well, it's 5 o'clock. Let's go somewhere.
I'm ready, crank it up.
Let's get out of here.
I'm gone.
I believe that we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. I will once and for all secure our elections. We're going to go to paper ballots. We're going to have same-day voting, voter ID. We're going to do it properly. We're going to have good, secure, beautiful elections. We never want what happened in 2020 to happen again. But until then, Republicans must win. And we must use every appropriate tool available to beat the Democrats. They are destroying our country. Whether you vote early, absentee, by mail, or in person, we are going to protect the vote. That's the most important thing we have to do, is protect the vote. Keep your eyes open, because these people want to cheat, and they do cheat. And frankly, it's the only thing they do well. We will make sure your ballot is secure and your voice is heard. Many Republicans like to vote on Election Day, and we must swamp the radical Democrats with massive turnout on Tuesday, November 5th. The way you win is to swamp them. If we swamp them, they can't cheat. It just doesn't work out. But if you can't make it, you need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We got to get your vote. So with your vote, we will win a victory the likes of which no one has ever seen before. We will evict crooked Joe Biden from the White House, and we will take back our country on November 5th, 2024, the most important day in the history of our country. That's what it's going to go down as. Thank you.
Lift me into shape. I must have been asleep for days. Moving lips, breathe her name. I opened up my eyes. I found myself alone, alone, alone above a raging sea. Stole the only girl I love, drowned her deep inside of me. You, soft and lonely. You, lost and lonely, you, just like
liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met. But baby, baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. I kissed your lips, make you grip the sheets with your fingertips. Last bottle of Jack, we split a fifth. Just talking about life, going sip for sip. Yeah, you know you love to fight, and I say shit I don't mean, but I'm still gonna wake up wanting you and me. I know that last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met. But baby, baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night. No way it was the last night that we break up. I see your taillights in the dust. You call your mama, I call your bluff. In the middle of the night, pull her right back up. Yeah, my friends say let her go. Your friends say what the hell, I wouldn't trade your kind of love for nothing else. Oh baby, last night we let the liquor talk. I can't remember everything we said, but we said it all. You told me that you wish I was somebody you never met. But baby, baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. We said we had enough. I can't remember everything we said, but we said too much. I know you packed your shit and slammed the door right before you left. But baby, baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night. I know you said this time you really weren't coming back again. But baby, baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. No way it was our last night. No way it was our last night.
Let's get it started in here.
And the bass keeps running, running, and 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 running, running, and
In this context, there's no disrespect, so when I bust my rhyme, you break your necks. We got 5 minutes for us to disconnect from all intellect and let the rhythm effect to lose the inhibition. Follow your intuition, free your inner soul and break away from tradition. Cause when we be out, girl, it's bullet we out. You wouldn't believe how we wow shit out. We burn it till it's burned out, turn it till it's turned out. Act up from northwest, east side.
everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah.
Lose control, our body and soul. Don't move too fast, people just take it slow. Don't get ahead, just jump into it. Y'all hear about it? The P's will do it. Get started, get stupid. Don't worry about it, people will walk you through it step by step like an infant new kid. Inch by inch with a new solution. Transmit hits with no delusion. The feeling's irresistible and that's how we move it.
Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get it started, get it started, get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Yeah. Running and running, running. Come on, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. And while I get it. Let's get it. And while I get it. Let's get it.
Let's get ill, that's the deal. At the gate,
will bring the bug-dot drill. Lose your mind, this is the time. You can't stand still, just and bang your spine. Just bob your head like me, Apple D. Up inside your club or in your Bentley. Get messy, loud and sick. Your mind fast, no more on another head trip. So come them now, do not correct it. Let's get ignorant, let's get hectic.
Everybody, everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get started, get started, get started. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Running and running and running.
That's
Thank you. Good night.
I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. 'Cause the power you're supplying, it's electrifying.
You better shape up, 'cause I need a man. My heart is set on you. You better shape up, you better understand. To my heart I must be true. Nothing left for me to do. You're the one that I want. You're the one that I want. You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me. Don't say I can't go with other boys. And don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. And please, when I go out with you, don't put me on display. 'Cause you don't own me. Don't try to change me in any way. You don't own me. Don't tie me down, 'cause I'd never stay. I don't tell you what to say. I don't tell you what to do. So just let me be myself. That's all I ask of you. I'm young and I love to be young. I'm free and I love to be free. To live my life the way I want. To say and do
I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough, you can stay there, and I'm sure you will find many ways to have a good time. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything fundamental joy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, are you listening to me? I said, young man, what do you wanna be? I said, young man, you can make real your dreams, but you got to know this one thing. No man does it all by himself. I said, young man, put your pride on the shelf and just go there to the YMCA. I'm sure they can help you today. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your mental joy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man, I was once in your shoes. I said I was down and out with the blues. I felt no man till if I were alive. I felt the whole world was so tired. That's when someone came up to me and said, young man, take a walk up the street. It's a place there called the YMCA. They can stop you on your way. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for your mental joy. You can hang out with all the boys. YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, pick yourself off the ground. YMCA. You'll find it at the YMCA. No man does it all by himself. Young man, put your pride on the shelf.
When I first came into office, I cut taxes more than any other president. We have created 7 million new jobs, and it led to a growth like we've never seen before. We developed the greatest economy in history by far. When I left office, it changed. Inflation destroyed the lives of so many people. Interest rates went from 2% to 10%. Millions of illegal immigrants, traffickers, and drugs coming into our country. Our country has gone to hell. So I made a decision to run. We're going to make America great again, greater than ever before. I will fight for you with every breath, and I will never let you down.
President Trump is literally putting his life on the line, and he's willing to risk it all because he loves this country.
He is strong, he is fearless, and he is what this country needs right now.
Our cities will be safe, our streets will be clean, and our border will be secure.
We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future.
The left told me to hate Trump. When you cut through the lies, you realize the truth. American families were better when Donald Trump was president. We were safer, wealthier, and stronger.
So if you love this country, if you want to stand up and fight for the future of our nation, you must re-elect Donald J. Trump.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am so sorry. Here's what they wanted to do. We got so tired up, and I figured you wouldn't mind too much because we're trying to win. And I got interviewed by actually a great guy. I didn't know him too well, but I got to know him because it was the longest interview I've ever done in my life. Joe Rogan, a good guy. And it's, it's quite something, and we had some other things really important. And I said, we're going to get this stuff done. And my people came to me, sir, we could cancel our evening event. I'm sure the people wouldn't mind. I said, are you crazy? I'm not canceling. There's no way. I'm not canceling. There's no way. We never even... So I apologize, but it's all about winning. We got to win, and we did some things today that will help us win. I think we did a lot of taping, a lot of this, a lot of that, a lot of everything, and we're way up. I'm not supposed to say that, but we're way up. Not only the polls, but the early voting. I guess we're leading in all 7 swing states. But, okay, forget I said it. Forget it. Because everybody has to go out and vote. Who's voted so far? Who's going to vote? I always figure you like to vote a little bit late. This party just likes to vote a little bit late, and that's okay. I understood it. I never went crazy over the one or the other, but we're leading actually in places where traditionally the Republicans don't lead. In fact, they can go down 30. And then they catch him at the end, right? But a little scary, a little spooky. But we're leading in just about everyone, right? Just about everyone. And it's usually they lead, and then we catch them, and then in our case, we usually beat them. We did great in 2016. We did much better in 2020, but a lot of bad things happened there. But this one blows it away because we've never had enthusiasm like this. And part of the reason is they're so bad. You got a little dose of bad management. You got a little dose of incompetent people. You know where she is tonight? She's out partying. So Israel is attacking. We got a war going on, and she's out partying. At least we're working to make America great again. That's what we're doing. Kamala, he's the worst president in the history of our country. She's the worst vice president in the history of our country. She was on CNN the other night, 2 nights ago. She couldn't put 2 sentences together. This is not going to be our president. We better not let that happen. It'll be the end of our country. So I want to say a very big hello, Michigan. I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Yes. Thank you all very much. We're going to have a good time. Look, I figured if it was a little bit later, it wouldn't matter. It's a Friday night, right? But you lose total track. Remember when Biden used to get up and it'd say, "It's great to be in Idaho. Sir, you're in New Hampshire." Oh. You know, if you do that, if you make that mistake, it doesn't matter. Winston Churchill was a great speaker. If you made that mistake, doesn't matter who it is. The evening's over. You're dead. But he used to make it all the time, right? It's great to be in Florida. And then you'd see it be Vermont or someplace. Crazy. What we've gone through with this group of incompetent people. And you know what? We couldn't stand 4 more years. Or you couldn't stand another. I'm not sure we can stand another 3-4 months of it. You want to really know the truth. But I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals into our country, and I will bring back the American dream. We're going to bring it back. And this is all you really need to know. They broke it, and I'll fix it. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it fast. We're going to fix it fast. With your support on November 5th, America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. We're going to do it. We got a lot of work to do. You know, when they allowed 21 million people to come into our country in 3.5 years, think it was much more than that, I believe. They have no idea. Nobody even has any idea. You don't even know how big the country is. Is it 325? Is it 350? You know, countries usually know approximately what size. They allowed so many people. You have no idea how big the country is, but we'll figure it out. But we're going to get rid of the bad ones real fast. We have to. We have no choice. And this election is a choice between whether we will have and whether we're going to have 4 more years of incompetence and failure, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We're going to do that. Kamala Harris, Kamala. She's so bad, you know. No, she's so bad. Can you imagine President Xi? He's a fierce person. Somebody said, "What's he like?" Well, I said, he's fierce. He walks in, we say, "Hello, we will immediately get back to work." You know, he's fierce. There's no games, you know, there's no games. When he sees this, he can't believe it. I guarantee you that. What the hell has happened to our country? So I say this. They say the biggest thing on the polling, the biggest thing they have is the economy, and then they have inflation, and then they have the border. And I disagree. I think the border is number one. I think the border and the inflation's terrible, and the economy stinks because of the inflation. It stinks because of the inflation. But I think the biggest thing is the border, because they've allowed millions of people to come in from prisons and from mental institutions and destroy our country. And we're not going to let that happen. But I really believe, does anybody agree with that? Because I do. Kamala Harris is leading a hate campaign now. She's got a new thing going. You know, I think now they're calling me a dictator. So they started off where I was a dictator. None of it worked. Then they went to, he's an evil genius. That didn't work. Then they went, he's a dumb son of a bitch. That didn't work. That didn't last long. That didn't last too long. Then they went back to the dictator stuff. They don't know what they're doing. Those poor people, those poor lost souls. They're like lost souls. They're radical left lunatic Democrats, and they all suffer from Trump derangement syndrome at a level. And she's joining. I saw Hillary today. We're having a big thing on Sunday at Madison Square Garden. And I guess in the 1930s or something, some guy who was inclined toward the Nazis had something, and she said, "It's just like the 1930s. No, it's not. No. No, this is called Make America Great Again. That's all it's called. This is not like... You know, Hillary conceded. I don't know what's going on with her. 3 o'clock, 3:01 in the morning, she called me, and she conceded. I don't have to tell you the whole story, but she conceded. I don't want to be rude to her. Why would I be rude to her? She's rude to me. Why wouldn't I be rude to her? Well, I am. You know, when the crowd used to shout, lock her up, they'd shout, lock. And I used to go, right, just relax, we're going to win. And then we won, and they still said, lock her up. And I said, just relax, we just won. Just take it easy. Because I couldn't see the wife of a president of the United States being put in the Hoosgow, right? I couldn't see it. Being put in jail, being put in prison. And, you know, she was also Secretary of State. And I hear her talking like, you know, there's never been a man investigated like Donald J. Trump, not Al Capone. Alphonse Capone, if he had dinner with you and didn't like you, you were a dead person. I spent more time under investigation than Scarface, Al Capone. But it's amazing. So there were a lot of people that wanted to put her in jail. They didn't give a damn. I said, no, you can't do that. The wife of a president. And then I get in there and they go after me, these animals, these dirty animals. I'm leading a movement of optimism and confidence and hope. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again, because there's nothing to be excited with these idiots running it. You're going to start thinking about the big dream and the American dream. You're going to start dreaming again, and this will be America's new golden age. We're going to make it the golden age. We have a little bit of a, you know, we're sort of behind the 1 yard line. We got to get rid of some of the problems that they've caused. But the reason the enthusiasm is so good is because of that. If we would have done it the more traditional way, like you win and then you retire, I guess, for the rest of your life, right? What the hell? So we won, but they said, I'm sorry. And then we won again. We won, think of it. We'll say we won 3 times, but we don't want the results of the second. We don't want those results, but we're going to clean up the results of the second, and we're going to clean them up good. Because the results of the second, you take a look at the crime in our country, take a look at the crime. It's never been like this. When I was debating that fake newscaster on ABC, David Muir, a fake sleazebag, I don't watch him anymore. Everything I'd say, he'd say, well, no. I'd say, crime is through the roof, it's rampant. He said, no, crime is down. I said, only a stupid person would say crime. You don't have to know anything. You don't have to see statistics. The crime is up, and then when you add the migrant crime, which is going to make even our crime look like peanuts. And by the way, these migrant criminals, the only thing good about them is they make our criminals look like nice people, very nice people. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands, and it really is. You know, if we win Michigan, we win the whole thing. And you have to vote for me. I just killed the biggest car plant anywhere in the world in Mexico, owned by China. I just killed it. It's dead. It's dead. Detroit would have closed up. This thing's so big, and I heard about it. I've been talking about it. I've been up here a lot. I talked in front of the Detroit Economic Club. It was very nice. And I talked about these plants that are being built in Mexico, near the border. They're going to make cars and sell them into the United States. It's going to be like making crackers, owned by China. And they were going to come through and they were going to destroy your business up here. You've already, your business over the years, look over the last 30, 40 years, it's been decimated compared to what it was. We're going to bring the car industry back to Michigan. We're going to bring it back to Detroit. But I heard about this big one in particular, but just these massive plants going to be built, and they're all set. You heard the story. A friend of mine, he builds plants. I said, take me to a plant. I want to see a plant. He said, we'll have to go to Mexico. I said, no, I want to see one in the United States. He said, well, there's no big one being built by comparison. You want to see the big ones, you got to go to Mexico. I said, you got to be kidding. What's this all about? They said, no, we're building some really big ones for China. So I immediately thought, I said, how do we kill those suckers? And I said, we're going to put 100, 200, 400, 700. We're going to put the biggest tariffs. There won't be one damn car that's going to be able to come through our border. And I announced it, and at the club I announced, and then, you know, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was at an event, and I look and I see the guy's name is John, great guy. He's the big guy. He's the one that builds a lot of the plants, most of them. He's really amazing, actually. That's what he does. If he had to build a little apartment someplace, I don't know if he could do it, but he can build a plant that's 2 miles long, and he's great at it. And I said, how's that plant come? This was a year ago, the first time I met him. And he said, well, sir, they just canceled the plant. Who just canceled it? China. And Mexico is furious. Why are they furious? Because the plant was canceled. I said, really? Why did they cancel it? Because they said they thought you were going to win, and that if you win, you're going to put big tariffs on them, and they're never going to sell any cars into America and destroy Detroit. And they just canceled it, so we're happy, right? I just found out about it a few days ago. So we just killed what would have been the biggest plant probably anywhere in the world that was going to destroy the state of Michigan. So you're going to now vote for Trump, because let me tell you, Kamala is never going to be doing that. Kamala doesn't know she's alive. If you watched her being interviewed by Allison Cooper the other night, who's a nice person. Do you know Allison Cooper? CNN fake news. Oh, she said, no, his name's Anderson. Oh, no. If you watch that interview, you would never want her as your president. She couldn't answer the simplest question. What's going to be the first thing you think about? What are you going to do? I grew up with a beautiful lawn. She said that in the debate, too, the same stuff. I had David Muir and that other one. I don't even know who the hell her name is. I don't want to know her name. Somebody said, oh, we'll get her name. So I don't want to know her name. Why would I want to know her name? Just say, Madam, no name. But they were hitting me left and right. They're the worst. I'll tell you, actually, ABC might be the worst, but I think 60 Minutes has really topped it, though. 60 Minutes interviewed Kamala, and she was incapable of answering questions. And they took the main question, like one of the early, but a big question, they asked, and it was, I don't like the word salad. To me, it's like stupid. But it was just a big jumble of words. It was just like rambling on that didn't go anywhere. And, okay. They asked a question. They took it out, threw it away, and they put a brand new answer in that was a fake answer. Didn't even pertain to that question. And they got caught. And to me, it's the biggest scandal in broadcast history. It's election interference fraud. And 60 Minutes should be taken off the air. They should. And CBS should lose its license. You know, the government gives us license to NBC fake news, ABC fake news, and CBS fake news. They have to pay. If they had to pay, they'd pay billions of dollars to get them for nothing. They pay nothing. They're public airways. They pay nothing. And you know what? The one thing is you have to be honest. And they were very dishonest. And ABC was very dishonest with David Muir when he just never asked her anything. Everything I answered, boom, they would criticize. And they were wrong on, I think, all of them. And all of her answers were wrong. They never questioned her. This is interference with an election. But worse than that, I think, honestly, was 60 Minutes. They took her answer out and put a new answer in. Do you think they do that for me? If I gave a bad answer, you know what they do with me? I give a long, beautiful, flowing, weaving answer. It's the weave. I call it the weave. Very you have to be very smart to do it. The main thing is you have to end up in the right location. If you end up out here, that's no good. But they call it the weave. what they'll do with me is they'll take out a piece and another piece, and that's bad, but it's not like they can say, well, we want to shorten the answer. We have time, right? We need time. But they took this answer. I think it's the worst thing. And we're going to be suing them and I'm suing them on behalf of you. I'm not suing them for me. I'm not suing them for me. I'm suing them for you because that's really a fraud on the American people. So why should they get a free license and they do that stuff? They're so biased. It's so disgusting. And you don't get the real picture of a candidate. When they do that, you don't realize she's close to a moron, okay? You don't realize that because they give you another answer. It wasn't a great answer, but at least it was like semi-normal. So we're going to probably sue him. I think we're going to sue him. Should I sue him or not? All right, stay tuned. Stay tuned. It'll happen fast. It's such an easy thing. How do they go to court and say, well, Your Honor, we did do, but I mean, that was a big thing. It's got to be very embarrassing for them. They have no answer. They actually said they have no answer for it. They got caught cheating. And we want the rest of their answers because they probably did it with other answers too, right? Because this woman, can you imagine this is going to be your president? I don't think so. Michigan, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've been a horrible, horrible vice president. You've destroyed San Francisco. When you were the DA, you were horrible as the Attorney General working with Gavin Newsom. You destroyed California. You're a disgrace to your nation. You shouldn't be running for president. You picked the dumbest vice president in history, maybe even dumber than you. This guy is the dumbest guy. What a choice. Somebody said, you got lucky, sir. Why? They picked this guy. He's dumb as a rock. Of course, you could make the case that, there's a theory, pick a really bad vice president, that way they never get rid of you. So maybe she did a very smart thing, who knows? But we're going to say, Kamala, you're horrible. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're useless. You're horrible. You're horrible. I'll tell you what. Can you believe, though? She's out celebrating. You know what how do you celebrate when you're down by like a lot? Do they realize it? Because, the votes are this isn't even polls anymore. These are the votes of, and if they come in even not like they're coming in now, even, less good. But, and, things can happen. Number one, they cheat like hell. So maybe they know something that we don't, right? They might know something that we don't. I don't know. Why the hell would she be celebrating when you're down? Maybe, never thought of that. Maybe she knows something we don't, but we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let it happen. Can't let it happen. But the polls are open for early voting here in Michigan, and we're setting all-time records in the votes. The votes we're setting all-time records in the votes because people, look at this place. I mean, what is it? What time is it tonight? What the hell? What is it? Huh? Right? It's 11. He said it's 11. I mean, it's freezing out. Is anybody cold? I'm not cold. I'm not cold. So we're setting records with the votes. The early voting is records. The Trump people are coming out. They're voting like crazy. And, typically we get our voting. The big voting that we get is at the end. So we were anywhere near tied, and we're more than tied. We're going to have a big time. It's going to be the greatest. It will be the single greatest political victory in the history of our country. Right? MAGA. Make America great again. So let's keep going. Don't let up. I shouldn't have told you what I told you tonight. But now I have an excuse. I said, well, we made a mistake. No, I shouldn't have. They said, don't tell them, sir. Don't let them keep over. You have to vote anyway because you can't trust them. Right? Too big to rig. Too big to rig. We have to bury the hatred and the lies and the avalanche, and we have to do it in an avalanche of votes. And every time you see a smear, every time you hear them attack, take the motivation to go out and vote, vote, vote. You just go and vote and get your friends and tell your girlfriend, she's got a husband, he's a big slob of a guy, and tell him to get the hell off the couch, Harry. You big slob, get off the couch. We're going to vote for the president. We're going to make America great again. We're going to make it great. Gotta get him. Gotta get him. With your help, 11 days from now, we're going to win Michigan. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. And we're going to make America great again. For generations, this state was the beating heart of the car industry and one of the greatest manufacturing centers anywhere in history. Yes. Okay. Doctor, please. Doctor, thank you. Take your time, doctor. Take your time. Plenty of time. Are they okay? Everybody okay? You all right? You let us know when. We got plenty of time. We love our people. They have a little problem. They have a little problem. We're okay. We'll wait. We don't give a damn, right? I'll tell you, we have such great doctors in these audiences. You know, you need a doctor, and those doctors are all over. They're great doctors, too. Great, great doctors. How's that going? Let's go. Okay, thank you. Let's go. But year after year, globalist politicians like Kamala Harris sold you out. And they let other countries loot, pillage, and plunder our wealth, our jobs, and our dreams. They just stole it from us like we're a bunch of babies. 40% of Michigan auto jobs were annihilated after NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. And I terminated it, by the way, if you don't mind, for the USMCA. And China's entry into the World Trade Organization was a disaster for this country. And they got all sorts of favorable trade status. They said they were a developing nation. Well, Detroit's a developing area. You can't say Detroit is exactly, you know. When I said the other day, last time I was here, I said, we got to bring Detroit, because honestly, for 45 years, I've been hearing Detroit. We're going to make it great. But when I sort of gave it a little knock, I said, let's face it, we've been ripped in Detroit. We got to make Detroit. They said, he was disparaging. I'm not disparaging. I'm telling you the facts. You need businesses to come back into this place. You need businesses. Otherwise, forget it. You can't make it. And people have to understand that. I guess probably a couple of politicians were hurt by that. I said, don't be hurt. You'll be happy when we have auto plants moving in all over the place, because we're going to do tariffs and we're going to do tax incentives and all this. You'll have so many plants and so many jobs, your head will spin. We're going to be bringing back the companies that we lost. We lost companies that was just so stupid how we lost them. And we lost them because we had dumb politicians. They're all coming back, every single one of them, because they want to be here. Under Kamala, the United States has lost 50,000 manufacturing jobs just in this year alone. You didn't know that, right? U.S. car sales are down 38% since I left office. Think of that. So you lost 50,000 jobs this year, and the car sales down 38%. I mean, a little more yet. Just think of it, almost 50% of your thing in just a short period of time. So where the hell are you going? You have this union guy. They want to make all electric cars. We're going to end the mandate for electric cars on day one. On day one. And electric cars are great. And Tesla's great, and Elon's great. He is the greatest guy, by the way. He gave me them. And there's a great market for them, but they can't all be electric. We have liquid gold, we have gasoline, we have oil and gas, we have gasoline. China doesn't have gasoline, and the electric cars are all going to be made in China. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. So we're going to change it around. We're going to have hybrids. We're going to have gasoline-powered cars. We're going to have electric cars. We're going to have everything. Maybe not hydrogen cars. You know why? Because they blow up, and when they blow up, you are not recognizable. I just said today, I said, your husband's driving a hybrid and it blows up. Ma'am, would you please come down and identify your husband? He's alongside of that tree. And you go like this. I don't know if that's him. No, I don't like that idea. They say they work pretty well. That's not good. They work pretty well, but when they don't work, you can forget it. I think we should take them off our schedule, right? So you got to vote for Trump, and you will see a mass exodus of manufacturing jobs from Mexico to Michigan, from Shanghai to Sterling Heights, and from Beijing to right here in Traverse City. Isn't that a nice place? Nice place. And you people are great. I can't believe it. You know, I figured when I got here there'd be like 20 people, and I was ready to do the full. Look at this place. It goes back. I wish the cameras would show it. These cameras are fake news. That's a lot of fake news, too, I got to tell you. Look. That's a lot of fake news. I wish they'd show. They never show the crowds, you know? They never show it. You ever see Kamala's crowd? They put like 10 people. They bus them in. They take a bus and they pay people. That's true. They pay people. They don't get people. They put them like that, and the camera always shows those people. I don't know. It's so crazy, isn't it? We don't have buses bringing people. The people come here, and we appreciate that you stay. Really, I mean, look at that, all the way to the back. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the biggest and best market on the planet. But we're not always going to be the best market. We're close to blowing it. We'll blow it, and we will lose everything. And we're going to keep our dollar standard, by the way, 100%. We're going to lose that. And we're not going to go into World War III, little things like that. The centerpiece of this plan will be a 15% made in America corporate tax rate, cutting the tax from 21% to 15%. Now, I'm the one who was almost 40. I got it down to 21. But here's the key. We're going to cut it all the way down to 15. The jobs are going to be flowing. Companies are, because it's going to be about the most competitive rate in the world. But only for those who make their product here in the USA and hire American workers for the job. You're going to have more people coming in than you would believe. And you'll see. I mean, it's incredible. You know, Wall Street, these 4 or 5 geniuses from Wall Street, they said, where the hell did you get that idea? You get the tax cut, but only if you build the cars here. The other thing we're doing, I will tell you now, is we get you interest rates. We get you the interest. You're allowed to deduct it when you buy a car, but only if the car's made in, like, Detroit, meaning the USA. Anywhere in the USA is okay, but I would like to see it built here because I've been hearing about this experiment, for 45 years I've been hearing about it. And we're going to turn it around. We're going to do it. It's going to be a great legacy for all of us. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a stiff tariff when they sell. Look, when they put their products into our country, into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers, they're taking our workers away. They're taking our jobs away. They're taking our product and our companies away. We're not going to let it happen. So they're going to have to pay a very stiff price to do that. But what they're going to do is they're going to bring their business here because that way they have no tariff to pay. It's sort of simple, and it's what China's been doing for a long time, and I've been telling them for a long time, and what they're doing is unbelievable. These politicians, they're either dumb or they're crooked, okay? And I think it's probably a combination of both. We'll also pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, reciprocal, Meaning if China or any other country charges us 100 or 200% tax, then we will charge them a reciprocal tax of 100 or 200%. Right now we don't do that. And I was starting it, and then we had a little bad election result, would you say? Think of what this country would be like. We wouldn't have inflation. You wouldn't have any wars because if you look at Iran, they were broke. They had no money to give to Hamas. They had no money to give to Hezbollah. They had no money. And there was no terror. You know, there was 4 years we had no terror. Russia would never have attacked Ukraine. They wouldn't have done it. Think of it. We had gasoline at I thought it was 187. It was 184. It was just adjusted. 184 a gallon. Think of that. Would you like to have $1.84 a gallon instead of $4? I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our families. And you know what I said? They said, please don't say that, sir. I think women like me. But they say we're doing unbelievable with men. They've never had anything like it. White men, black men, men like me. They say women don't. And I say they do because we're going to protect. And I said, I'm going to protect women and families. I'm going to protect from the criminals coming in from the border. We're getting them out from foreign bad players, from criminals, period. We're going to protect. They said, sir, please don't say you're going to protect women. Why? Because it doesn't sound really well. I said, I think it sounds fine. We want to protect. I mean, that's our job. We have to protect. So I think I should override my experts. Do you agree? We're going to override them, if you don't mind. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And thank you very much. If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will obliterate our economy, kill millions of jobs, and destroy your family finances forever. That's what's going to happen. You'll end up, if this person who doesn't know anything, she wants to raise taxes on everybody. If she gets in, you're going to have a 1929-style depression. That's what's going to be. It's going to be a disaster. You see it already. Think of it. Look at all the jobs I just said. You're losing all your jobs in 3.5 years. They're going backwards. And you had the worst inflation in the history of our country. And inflation is a country buster. But with all of that, the border is worse. The border is worse. I don't give a damn how bad the inflation is. What's coming into our country, the murderers that are coming in, all these people, that's the worst thing. Kamala's inflation nightmare has already cost the typical family over $30,000 in higher prices, and now she wants to raise the typical family taxes by more than $3,000 a year. Lots of luck. All my life I've watched politicians. They say, we will lower taxes. This is the only stupid politician she's going around. She's trying to run. I will raise your taxes. She's bragging about it. I will raise your taxes. I'm saying, am I missing something? I don't know. We have some great people here. We're going to introduce them in a second. They're some of the best in the world at exactly what we're talking about. The taxing queen, as she's called, is also demanding a shocking 33% tax hike on all domestic production all along the largest capital. She wants the largest capital gain increase in our history, and it's unbelievable. Take a look at this video. You're getting a beautiful video late in the evening. It's beautiful. We'll play a little music. Go ahead.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Thank you. So, I am going to massively cut taxes for the workers, and included in that is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we're going to get it done, too. Did you see where she copied me like a month and a half later? I am going to announce no tax on tips. That's the last time we ever heard of it. Not going to happen. She wouldn't be able to get it passed anyway. We will quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill, right? We're going to drill, baby, drill. And I'm going to cut your energy prices in half, 50%. We're going to cut them in half in 12 months. We're going to cut your energy prices down. You know why? We have the liquid gold. We can do it. We buy our oil now from Venezuela. Can you believe it? Venezuela, it's not oil, it's tar. And the only refinery that can do it is in Houston, Texas. So for the environmentalists out there, that stuff is dirty. That's dirty. And we have the best stuff in the world. We have the most and we have the best. And we're going to use it, and we're going to cut down on our debt, and we're going to cut down on everything. We're going to turn this country around so fast. But your energy bills, your car, your air conditioning, your heating, your hot water, everything, it's going to be from January 20th, 1 year from that, you're going to pay half, and you'll be able to do it. And that's going to bring down other prices, including food prices. People are talking about groceries all the time. That's going to bring them down. As we restore our economy, we will also secure our borders. Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. That's the border. She's eradicated our sovereign border, and she has unleashed an army of migrant gangs who are waging a campaign of violence and terror against our citizens. You're reading about it every day. They said, oh, no, they're fine people coming in. They're not fine people. They got murderers. You got drug dealers. Kamala has imported an invasion of criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions all around the world, from Venezuela to the Congo, and she's resettled them into your communities to prey upon innocent American people. And you know, a lot of communities have them, and the ones that don't are even more scared because they don't want them. They don't want them. They're saying, please don't send them. And these are rough people. Some of them are really deadly people. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Isn't that nice? They formed a group in prison. Tren de Aragua, very well known. MS-13's another one that's taking over apartment complexes in Colorado and unleashing a violent killing spree all over America. They've even taken over a place called Times Square in New York City. It's a horrible thing going on in New York. Let's take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about.
San Antonio, Texas, just one of the latest cities to have apartment complexes taken over by members of the Venezuelan gang.
Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE.
Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
If they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Martinez and Angel wrapped his arms around Jocelyn's neck, took off her pants, and climbed on top of her. Later strangled Jocelyn to death and then tied up her hands and feet.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
The men threatened to cut off her fingers if she did not cooperate. Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
A Peruvian gang leader who is wanted for 23 murders, who was arrested by Border Patrol near Roma, Texas, then released into America.
It's terrible. This is what we have coming into our country. It's terrible. The United States is now an occupied country. We're an occupied country. And you don't maybe see it around here as much, and who knows, but you probably will. But all over, they're seeing it. And they're also taking Hispanic jobs and black jobs. They're taking jobs from the black population and the Hispanic population. And this crummy administration that we have is trying to hold back the numbers. The numbers are astronomical. Wait till you see the numbers of the black population lost jobs and the Hispanic population lost jobs. And they're trying to hold it till after the election is over because it's a disaster. And I think they're going to be forced, just like they had 818,000 phony jobs. Remember that a couple of months ago? And they didn't release it. They wanted to release the correction after the election, but we had a whistleblower who I like very much. I don't know who he is or she is, but but they announced it before the election, and it would have been a scandal if it were anybody else but them. But they created 818,000 phony jobs to pad their numbers. But it will soon be really an occupied country no longer. We're not going to have a country that's occupied. We're an occupied country. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. We're going to have Liberation Day. We're going to get them out. Kamala Harris is so grossly incompetent and unfit that she's obviously disqualified from being the President of the United States. How can you have a President of the United States? And by the way, the Border Patrol... Go ahead, take your time. Such spirit here. It's amazing, isn't it? Everyone loves everyone. It's a great thing. Everyone loves. Yeah, take your time, doctor, please. Should we listen to a nice song while we wait? Okay, Ave Maria by Pavarotti. You want to do it? We'll listen to a song. I want the doctors to take their time.
Lord.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, doctors. Thank you very much. No one respects Kamala. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. And from humiliating our country in Afghanistan with Biden and her, the greatest humiliation in the history of our country, the time when we were most embarrassed by something, we've never been embarrassed like that, to the invasion of Ukraine, to the nightmare on our border, to her inflation catastrophe, to her egregious hurricane response. It's been so horrible. Their response in North Carolina was horrible. Worse than Katrina, if you remember Katrina. The worst. Kamala Harris is a train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. She can't speak. She doesn't know how to speak. She can't put sentences together. To make her president would be to gamble with the lives of millions and millions of people. We'd have a major possibility of getting into World War III, which will never happen with us. They're never going to play games with us. Because she's grossly incompetent. She is not capable of doing the job. And normally, I wouldn't be that tough on somebody, but you know what? We can't take a chance. You got to just get this, you got to get this horrible group of people the hell out of there. We're not going to have a country left. We love our country. We're not going to have a country left. Kamala is also in total freefall with the Arab and Muslim population in Michigan. She's in a freefall. She sent their jobs overseas, brought crime to their cities, and tonight in the Middle East, it's like a tinderbox. It's ready to explode. People are being killed at levels that we've never seen before. And that's taking place right now in Michigan. She is in literally a free fall. They've had it with her. Nobody's in charge. Joe Biden is asleep. Kamala is at a dance party with Beyonce. And why would Muslims support Kamala when she embraces Muslim-hating Liz Cheney? Can you believe Liz Cheney, a total loser, whose father brought years of war and death to the Middle East? Why would you support somebody if you're from the Middle East or even associated with the Middle East? Why would you be supporting somebody with a Cheney family? The father killed more Arabs than any human being on earth. He pushed Bush, and they went into the Middle East. This person cannot be a president. She's too weak, too foolish to represent America on the world stage. Would be a great embarrassment. And we don't have 4 years. We just went through 4 years. We don't have 4 years to waste. Earlier this month, I was honored to receive the endorsement of over 400 national security and foreign policy officials. Think of this. But I can't get the press to write about it. You know, they have some dope like Bolton and this stupid General Kelly, as dumb as a rock. They have these people, they get front. I get 400 people from my administration, the biggest people. They're saying he was the greatest president. They won't write the story about it. But we understand. In the meantime, we're in first place and they're not. So somebody understands. Because they're fake news. They don't write the story. And great people, too. They're great people. But they know that under my leadership, we will have peace through strength. And that's what we had. We didn't have any wars other than we took out ISIS in record time because we have a great military. Not the ones that you see on television, the dopes. Like Milley and Mattis and these guys, real dopes. On top of it all, Kamala says she'd do nothing differently from Joe Biden, which has to disqualify her. I would do nothing differently. You know how bad a job he did? 89% wrong way. She would do nothing differently. Take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
U.S. inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities saying Train de Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
That's what you're going to have. And get used to it. It'll be 100 times worse. Michigan, if you want to end this disaster, you must get out and you have to vote. We can't play games. We got to end it. It'll happen fast. We got to end it. We're going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. We're going to do things that people, we're going to be respected again. Look, 4 years ago we were respected. Your president was respected. Your country was respected. Now they laugh at us. We're like a joke. We're not going to be a joke anymore. And we had no wars. First time in 81 years, no wars. I had no wars other than we finished off ISIS. We didn't send your son or your daughter to war. We're pleased to be joined by some terrific people, a man who I just think is amazing. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Where is Doug? I hope he, because you know what? Oh, there he is. I said, I hope he's left, because, I think I'm keeping the poor guy. And his wife is so incredible. Catherine, are you there? Yes. Look at them. And you're not dressed very warmly. Well, you're used to it in North Dakota. These are unbelievable people, tremendously successful people, the kind of people we want in the administration, and I hope we're going to be lucky enough. Thank you very much. Will you go home immediately, please? Just go. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much. It's really an honor. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Catherine. It's really nice. What great people. Congressman Jack Bergman. Jack, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jack. He's a tough guy, You're not dressed very warmly either. Are you a little cold? Okay, good. Unbelievable. That's great. A warrior. Michigan GOP Chairman Pete Hoekstra. And Pete, thank you. So how are we doing? How are we doing, Pete? We're doing great. You happy? I said, Pete, you got to do this. You got to take it over. And boy, has he done a job. So, well, if we won, boy, has he done a job. If we didn't, I'll say, well, Pete, what the hell happened? But are we looking good? The votes, yeah. No, there's your answer, right? That's your answer. Yep. Great. That's great. And a friend of mine and a woman who is just really amazing, had a great father who I knew. He was a steel man. And he loved his daughter, and he's looking down. He passed away fairly recently, and he's looking down at his daughter, and he's saying, I'm proud of you. Tudor Dixon. Tudor, thank you. Thank you, Tudor. Thank you, hon. Here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas. Not even close. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement, and anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. She was one of the leaders of defund the police. You don't know that. You never heard that. You know, they have this quick little thing with it. Once he got out, they went to him, they said, get the hell out of here, you're going to lose. We had the debate, and they go to him after the debate. They say, you're not going to make it, get out. It's like, and then they say threat to democracy. They're the
טוב, שבת שלום.
Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. The great people from ICE, they're tough and they love our country. And without them, we would have a problem like you wouldn't believe. But she wants to get rid of them. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking. And as California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as totally nonviolent crimes. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. Would anybody willingly like to give up their gun? Please raise your hand. That's not an easy one, is it, huh? She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense. And you saw what happened a couple of days ago at McDonald's. It was a monster story. It was just a little throwaway. You know, unlike her, she takes a vacation today, yesterday. You know, you're running for the 100-time Super Bowl, okay? Take the Super Bowl, multiply times 1,000. And you got 12 days to go, and she's taking vacations. That's not off to a good start. I've gone 58 days in a row without anything because we got to win this thing. We got to win this thing. But she lied about working at McDonald's on top of everything else. You know, she never worked at McDonald's. It was a part of her story, a big part. And on top of that, she would like to see our country go woke. Take a look at this quickly, a little Marine video. Take a look.
You little scumbag! I got your name! I got your ass! You will not laugh! You will not cry! You will learn by the numbers!
Happy Pride. Happy Pride Month, and actually
That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! Bullshit! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face!
I hear it and I know I know you wanna take.
You will be a weapon. You will be a minister of death, praying for war. But until that day, you are pukes. You are the lowest form of life on earth. You are not even human fucking beings. You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
How to abracadabra, these bitches know I got answers the way I.
It looks to me like the best part of you ran down to crack your mama's ass and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. I love working for Uncle Sam. I love working for Uncle Sam. Let me know just who I am. Let me know just who I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps. 1, 2, 3, 4, United States Marine Corps.
So we won 2 world wars, and but don't worry about the military. They showed us with what they did with ISIS so quickly, the caliphate 100%. They're not woke. Only those people on the top are a little woke. They'll be gone fast. We have great. I say you could put them in a woke cage for 2 years, they'd come out fighting. Let me tell you, they're not woke. They're not going to be woke. Don't worry about it. In conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala and we are going to save America. We're going to save our country. With your support, we will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Michigan. We're going to bring them back here and Detroit. We're going to bring them back into Detroit. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. And you're going to see things happen at a pace that you're not going to believe. You're going to be very proud of this country very soon. I will end the war in Ukraine quickly. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III. I know them all. I know exactly what to do. We will crush the violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. They're going to do it. They're going to be able to do their job. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our military. We gave a lot of it to Afghanistan, but actually still just a fraction, but a lot. We gave them a lot of brand new stuff. How crazy. More importantly, with their stupidity, we lost 13 great soldiers. Many were very badly hurt, the arms, the legs, the face. They were hurt. We left Americans behind, and we lost Burgum, the biggest Air Force base, one of the biggest in the world, 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons. And you know who occupies it? China. China occupies it. How stupid are these people? We will build a missile defense shield around our country, mostly made in the USA. In fact, all made in the USA. And a lot of it's going to be made right here in Michigan. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports day one. I will defend religious liberty, I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment, which is under siege. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we will finally, and we are going to do this, we are going to do it. We're going to build up our country. We're going to defend our borders, and we're going to protect our citizens for a change. Our citizens. We're going to put America first. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation. Once again, we are now a nation in decline. We're not going to be a nation in decline for very long, let me tell you that. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity, hope, and the American dream. We want the American dream for your children. They've got to have that dream. They will not amount to a lot. They've got to have the dream. If they want to really go, they have to have something to aspire to. We're going to bring back the American dream. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with the landslide that's too big to rig. Early voting is underway, so who is going to vote? Who's going to vote? Please. Yes. You got to does everybody here promise they're going to vote? Promise? Okay, thank you. I agree. I accept it. I really do. I think everyone here is going to be voting. Everyone. We just can't take it for granted. We have to get out and vote. And all of the things have been, what we've been through together. People don't realize what we've been through together. We've watched our country rot. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. With your help from now until Election Day, we're talking about 11 days. We will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever, ever surrender. Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. This will be the most important day because we're going to take back our country from these lunatics that have no idea what the hell they're doing. They're destroying our country. They're destroying our families. We're not going to take it anymore. We will very shortly be able to Make America powerful again. Make America wealthy again. Make America healthy again. Make America strong again. Make America proud again. Make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. It's a great honor to be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yourself off the ground, I said, young man, 'cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man. There's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're short on your dough.